Good morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning will be on reading, creative writing, and the theater. Books have always been treasures to thinkers, and needless to say, ideas and information presented in books are tools to expand and exercise the mind. My first guest has scheduled a community reading, bringing men and young men together virtually to read together. Andre Lee Ellis is the founder of We Got This, a neighborhood program that teaches young men the powerful message of self-reliance. How are you, Andre?
Hey, I'm really good and excited to see you and talk about our issues today.
Yes, thank you. Of course, you're no stranger to this show. So when I heard about this community reading that you were doing, I was really excited to hear more about it. Give us a concept of what's happening and how you came up with this idea.
Okay, well, I know that literacy is a hard thing in our community. There are a lot of men, older men and younger men, who I know that can't really read, don't have a real interest in reading, but I noticed that they have an interest in language and how they talk and their swag and their slang language. And I thought of a book by Nathan McCall called Makes Me Want to Holler. And so I said to myself, as I often do when I'm in the garden, I said, I need to do something to bring men and younger boys together. They need to read. And Nathan McCall's book, Makes Me Want to Holler, was written while he was in prison. And he came out of prison to be very successful. Since we have a large population that go to prison and come home from prison, I thought it would be an excellent book. And boy, what a book I chosen, because almost every young man or man that I speak to say, I read that book when I was in prison, or I read that book in school. And so I came up with the idea because we've got to do something to change the negative statistics about our community around. In so many categories, we're the worst in it. And so I figured if they could see men and boys reading, it would get them more interested in how they behave in the house and in the streets, and the whole world could watch it.
Yeah, and you have been on the show to talk about your garden right there on Ninth and Ring, and I see your shirt representing Ring right there. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. And you also during the summer, pre-COVID, had tutors come through and read with the young men who were in the garden. So this really just goes right along with everything that you've been doing. But Makes Me Want to Holler, A Young Black Man in America, is the groundbreaking memoir of Nathan McCall. And he released this New York Times best-selling book almost 3 decades ago. And his journey from a troubled youth to a professional journalist remains one of the most important memoirs in America. So when we talk about him going from one place in his life to the other, that's really what you want young men, mostly young men who you have come in contact with, to know that what's around them and what they see on a daily basis, that doesn't have to be it, right?
Exactly. Whatever you were yesterday, you have the power and the opportunity and the chance to become something different today. It's up to you. I wanted them to see, I want us to read through this book, although it's 30 years old, it's an old book, but I want us to read to it because it's so relevant today. I had my 12-year-old grandson read some excerpts to me from it, and he was stunned to see that a lot of the things that were talked about were still being talked today about the territory of white and racism and all of poverty and all of those things that contribute to the population of prison, of young black men going to prison. And so this book, this book is sort of like a manual that they could read. The chapters are short. They're able to be discussed. It's written in a language and in a way that anybody can get into it. But I also thought it's better for the lesson to come from somebody who has been through what they may be going through or gonna go through, because they can tell them just how to survive it, come out of it, and maybe avoid it.
Absolutely. And when we talk about those negative statistics, we all know we hear it over and over again. And I love when you say we are going to wash those statistics away with the 53206 zip code being one of the most incarcerated zip codes in America. Then we know Wisconsin has the highest rate of African American men behind bars. And so when we look at that and then read Mr. McCall's book, he says he was 10. He was playing childhood games with neighborhood kids. At 14, the games had changed to gang fights, gang bangs, and petty theft. When he graduated from high school, he was a sometime mugger and father-to-be. And when he was sent to prison at age 20 for armed robbery, he had already shot a man and gotten involved with drugs. But what was really powerful to me is his transformation to the newsrooms of the Washington Post and ultimately to the faculty of Emory University. So quite a story to tell, and no matter how old it gets, there's still that strong message there. And then I think it's interesting also how he named the book after an old Marvin Gaye song, you know, makes me want to holler, the Inner City Blues. And then he had another book that he wrote about racism, which was a series, which was called What's Going On. So talk about what you're hoping young men will take away from his story.
What I'm hoping that they'll take away from it is that if you never had a father, then you got to become a father. If you want to be angry about not having a father, read this book and other books and watch other men in your community. You'll find out that there's a large percentage of Black men and Black children and Black families that have that same issue. There's a lack of father. Once I had 100 young boys in the garden on a Saturday, and they all were 12 to 16 years old. And I asked the question, how many of you don't know your father? 90 of them raised their hand. How many of you know your dad but still don't have a relationship with him? 5 more joined them. Out of 100 little Black boys, 12 to 16 years old, who had got to that garden by 8 o'clock, trying to make a earnest living, $20 for themselves, doing something honest, only 5 of them knew their dad and possibly had a relationship with it. So what I'm hoping that they can learn from is that you can break the cycle. You don't have to, you can change what you eat so that you don't become what you were eating. That's the metaphor in the garden. And I also want them to know that the power is within them, because death has no age. You're not guaranteed how long you'll have a father anyway. So as you are alive, as you go into life and start dealing with the young ladies and the women, and you possibly could get them pregnant, you shouldn't be doing that if you don't have an understanding of what manhood is and what the responsibility of manhood is, especially fatherhood.
Yes, and as we wrap up, Andre, please give us the details on how people can view this community reading. And I understand you have a few slots open if people want to actually take part in the reading, but when is this going to be taking place and how can people get involved?
Okay, we're excited. It's going to happen during Black History Month, starting February 15th, and it's going to last through March 15th. It's myself, and we have a female moderator that's going to be coming in, and we're going to have some guest female moderators, so look for a phone call coming in to help us out so that we can have the female represented there as well. So February 15th through March 15th, we'll read Monday and Friday evenings from 6 to 7 p.m. People won't be able to ask direct questions, but they will through chat and things like that. Zoom is very, it's large in helping us out. So that's when it's going to happen. People can give me a call at 414-779-2476. While you're scrambling for your pens, that number again is 414-779-2476, and give me a call. And if you can commit to this, it would be great. And even more so, I would love someone from corporate America, someone that's big in sports, someone that's big in the medical field, someone real career oriented, because these young men and stuff, they know about the streets, but I want them to hear about their other options and that they can be on one phone call with such great people.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Andre, for all that you do. It's always a pleasure.
It is. Thank you so much.
Andre Lee Ellis is the founder of We Got This. For more information about the organization and how they're changing lives in Milwaukee, you can visit wegotThisMKE.com, or you can go to his Facebook page at Andre Lee Ellis. When we return to Our Issues Milwaukee, we'll meet a young man who just became acquainted with Andre. And at the age of 19, he's found a way to express his thoughts in a book he's written titled Triumph from Tragedy. We'll meet author Rashad Scott right after this.